Dance is just, it's something, it's like a form of like my own self-expression. Sometimes it's almost something that I even feel like compelled to do. It's like really just a part of me, almost like walking and breathing. So it's just like, that's I guess why I love it. It's like a natural like bodily like function to me. Like it's just part of me.
From Belmont, Pennsylvania, please welcome the great ones of Hot Styles Dance Company.
All right, here it is.
Can you share with us when and how your son first got interested in dance?
Probably as early as like 2 years old. Anytime like, you know, a song would come on that he would really like, we would notice that he would just dance. Doing all different types of moves on the ground, he just would be having a really good time. He was probably about 4 years old when we put him in his first formal dance class. The dance teacher, after, you know, she did the first class with him, she came and she told us, she said, he's a natural. His technique at 4 years old was flawless. And then when we moved to Dubai for a year, he was in kindergarten there, and a song would come on and he would like choreograph all his own moves and want to show it to me. And so he just always was like really, really, really into dance.
You feel like you're being watched?
By the judges.
The judges aren't watching you, baby. You're not a superstar yet, okay?
From the day he was born, I just feel like he was just always moving, always dancing.
My parents told me that from when I was young, I was always dancing, so I was put into dance classes at a very early age. When I was super young, I remember going to this like ballet studio type place where I was working on ballet.
It was at a performing arts school in Tampa. The dance teacher, after, you know, she did the first class with him, she came and she told us, she said, he's a natural. And so even though he was the only little boy in the class, we noticed that he still, you know, he always wanted to go, and we never had to ask him to practice. And then when we moved to Dubai for a year, he was in kindergarten there, and a song would come on and he would like choreograph all his own moves.
I love that he has a passion for dance. I think dance is just beautiful, and I'm glad he's a part of it.
How do you like Dubai so far?
I like it a lot.
When we moved to Pennsylvania, he was about 7.
I feel like State College is like a secret. Crime is low, people are kind and nice. It just seems like a very good community. But as far as diversity of things, I wish there was more. We both came from big cities, and even being over in the Middle East, because it was Dubai, was like big city world. When she got the job here at Penn State, we were just like, whoa, small town USA. It's a very small town. I mean, everybody knows everybody here, and that's nice, but in Miami, you can get like a million different types of cultures and this and dance studios. And
if we lived in New York City or Philadelphia, he would have many more opportunities.
We don't get that here, and it's no, I don't know what the right word is, but it just is the way that it is.
So we moved here in first grade and tried out a couple of dance studios then as well, until we found the one that really felt like it was the best fit for me, which was Hot Styles Dance Company.
We're gonna speed up a little bit. 5, 6, 7, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, around, up, down, turn. On my counts, again.
I think I've known him since he was 7. I think he was around 7 years old when he first came into the program.
We went there to meet the owner, Deshaun, and he was discussing a lot of hip hop techniques that the other dance school that we were going to really didn't seem to know the techniques.
He was like the rest of the boys, just a young, goofy kid. He didn't screw around as much as the other boys. I remember that. I mean, we've had some terrors when it comes to the boys, you know, but Aneaus he was never like one of the ones you had to like get on to like stop playing around and goofing off.
Here we go again.
The fact that the owner of the studio was male and then a black male on top of that,
Representation.
I felt like he had a lot to offer my son outside of dance, and that was very important to me.
Stay in control, yeah.
And I lovingly refer to his dance coach as his second father. When I am not able to maybe sometimes get messages across about life, we have this third person who he respects and looks up to that can get those messages to him.
Hot Styles, for their competition teams, you had to know how to do all styles of dance. You know, Aneaus had to take ballet, he had to take jazz, he had to take hip hop, he had to take acro. Deshaun, he said, man, I do a combination for Aneaus, and Aneaus just picks it up like that. He can repeat it. He's really quick with learning different dances.
Really feel like if there's like anything going on for you, like in your life or whatever, you can really put that into your dancing, and just like really like the emotion that's felt through it and like the energy is really what draws me to dancing. Like dancing is its own art form within itself, and so that's where I feel like I can express that part of myself.
If you watch your kids close enough, they'll tell you what they're destined to do. They'll show it to you. This was probably a mistake that I made. I told him, I said, son, if you love something and we notice that you are doing really well at it and you are working really hard, however much of it you want to do, we're going to support you. Well, little did I know that we were going to be doing 3 to 4 dance classes every day of the week.
We'd go to practice, he'd get his schoolwork done. You know, that was our life. Other sports besides dance, especially where boys are concerned around here, takes over. And so they basically would go on to those other sports and stuff like that.
A lot of the time, I was dancing on all-girls teams where everybody was a girl.
The girls would take over both the girls and the boys' bathroom. This seems a bit unfair.
I was commonly the only boy as well, which can come with its challenges as well, and then especially being a black boy as well, so I'm like really like a one of a kind.
We were at recital, and some of the boys were making fun of him because he was dancing ballet up there, and it would be just him and like 6, 7, 8, sometimes 10 girls. Gary and I talked to his coach. We told him what was going on. And we don't know what his coach said or you know, did with those boys, but we know that it stopped, which was a positive thing.
He's always been one of the only boys with them, and that comes with its own challenges as you're, you know, younger, because, you know, the girls, they go off and they want to do, you know, their thing.
I mean, it was always in the back of my mind, like, you know, I'd like to be better friends with these people, like, and it was ultimately what, like, one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to quit dance was because I didn't really have any friends there. There was always that aspect of if there was more people like me around here, I'd be able to be better friends with them. But, you know, it's not something that happened.
He's a good teammate. Gets frustrating for him at times, but he's always been good about not giving up on them and still, you know, learning to stay connected with them.
That does come with its own struggles because you're kind of like the only person who really understands what it's like to have those identities. I've tried to be more social now that I'm older, but, you know, as a young kid, it's just really hard to connect with people who you don't really have a lot in common with.
There was a little bit of a time when Aneaus came to us and he said that he didn't want to dance anymore. I said, I wonder if it's because that's what all the boys are doing, right? That he wants to do that. And so we told him, you can quit, but you have to make it through the competition season because your team is depending on you. And so he said, okay, and he made it through the end of the season and ended up not wanting to drop out. So we were really excited about that.
I'll take pictures.
We were noticing that when he was running track in the summer that he was having issues with his legs.
He'd like be carrying his leg in like an awkward way.
He always looked like he was running and his leg was like going out in this way.
Sometimes it hurt really bad, sometimes it would only hurt a little bit, sometimes it wouldn't be there at all, so it's kind of sporadic.
We would take him to the doctor and they would always say, we can't see anything, we can't see anything.
A lot of them would say that there was absolutely nothing wrong with me.
Just line your toes up. Come on, man.
Kind of makes it hard to believe your kid when at times it seems like there's nothing going on with him and doctors are also telling you there's nothing going on with him.
We went to a very good doctor and they put him on the machine and they were able to tell us, yeah, there is something wrong with his leg.
He had some issues where the bone down here up underneath his knee was completely rotated.
I think it was like my thigh bone is like turned like that way and my shin bone is turned like that way. So when I was walking, my knee would be going like that and it hurt.
They ended up having to go in there surgically, split the bone, rotate it, and screw it back together, which meant that he was going to be in a wheelchair and then on crutches for a year.
It was very devastating for him.
I still got the scar on my leg and then there's recovery from that.
I was just really, really nervous about him walking again.
The recovery time was 6 months.
He wasn't able to be with the team to make those connections. They're doing their dances, they're learning this, he's not there learning. So it was a very trying time for him. He had started to get better from the leg surgery. He'd gotten out of the wheelchair, he'd gotten to the crutches, and then he was off of crutches, and then he was doing exercises to strengthen his leg.
There's a lot that I couldn't do. I finally am starting to get better. I'm starting to walk on my own now, all those things, and I finally am thinking about, hey, maybe I can get back to dance, because while I was in the wheelchair and on crutches and things because of my leg, I actually started missing dance. So hey, I can finally get back to dance, and then boom, COVID hits.
I think at first it was like this surreal situation where it was odd not being around each other.
We went into lockdown. The dance studio was like, hey, okay, you can still be in these classes. This is the way that we're gonna do. This is our new norm.
All dance classes went online.
They would do little things like go to each other's houses and we would Zoom it all, and they would like sit on each other's lawns, like away from each other, just so we had, you know, those type of interactions still with each other. COVID definitely changed things a lot for us, and for Aneaus, it was worse.
He'd be in the basement, I turned the big screen on, we'd set up the Zoom session, and he would be practicing with everybody else.
It was a nightmare, so he would be trying to get in to the Zoom classes and the links wouldn't work, or we had issues with the Wi-Fi.
It was definitely delays. Sometimes it would just disconnect, like so, and it was like a good like year and a half of that.
And yeah, connections were bad. It was all, you know, the whole Zoom thing was all new.
He really struggled. He would miss whole classes online because of that sometimes, whole nights, because we couldn't get our Zoom platforms to stay consistently connecting.
But he wanted to keep dancing, and that was the only way for us to be able to do that.
When they went back to dancing in person with masks, because my mom is living with us.
My grandmother was in a high-risk category.
So that put him out of the studio another year. It was way worse for him trying to stay connected during that time.
I really thought at that point he was going to drop out.
I can do it and I can land it, but I haven't done it since Lift Every Voice. That's the problem.
I mean, it sucked. I mean, it really did. I mean, it's like, you know, I'm the only person who's online at this point. Everybody else is back in the studio. You know, they can hang out, be talking, chatting, whatever. And I'm kind of just online in my basement with a mat trying to follow along.
Aneaus did the entire dance season in the basement here at the house on video, and then in order to participate in the recital, he had to record his recital pieces in the den, and he did that and still continued to participate.
You know, I just kind of tried to keep pushing through because I like to see things out to the end as best as possible. COVID is finally ending, I finally get back into the studio, but I can't compete because I've been off the team for like 2-3 years at this point. So I finally got to get back to competing last year.
You got sick, you got hurt, you're not with the team. You rehab, you get better, you get with the team, and then something else happens to just completely destroy the camaraderie that you are now starting to build with the team.
Those were times when I really thought, you know, this is it. You know, dance is going to be done.
You know, I really like dancing, so I was trying to just like keep up and keep my skills and those types of things so I didn't lose them in the interim.
When those things didn't knock him out, you know, he has just continued to grow and grow. I've just noticed him just grow, you know, as a teenager, and I think he's wise beyond his years. And I think it's because he's been through, you know, some things. He's experienced some really negative things that he had zero control over. Aneaus was supposed to be born on April 26th, 2007. On April 18th, we were on our way for my very last prenatal appointment for him.
We were in a little Honda Civic 2-door green car, and we're driving down the street.
A utility truck was coming like from one of the cross streets, and I remember Gary telling me,
Surya, this car is going to pull out in front of us.
We're gonna hit, we're gonna hit, we're gonna hit, because he just cut out in front of us.
And then I put my hand on her belly. I slammed on brakes, and the car just slid, because the guy was like right here in front of us, and boom.
The car kind of went up underneath the truck, and I just remember the windshield, the airbag.
The airbag deployed, hit my wife in the stomach.
My hands like got thrown up in my face. The seatbelt was across my stomach, and it cut into my stomach. And I just was seeing smoke. I could not see Gary.
I got out the vehicle and just kind of pulled her out.
The guy who hit us, he was sitting on the sidewalk next to me.
The first thing she said was, I wonder if the other person's okay.
Aneaus was like an extremely active baby, but after the accident, there was like nothing.
The ambulance came and took us to the hospital.
We were in the emergency room, and I was like waiting for an ultrasound or something, because I just kept telling them like, he's not moving.
They took her to the back, and they didn't take me back there with her.
I was able to get a ultrasound and to know that, you know, they could hear his heartbeat and everything else. A new doctor came in. She said, we're gonna just go ahead and induce labor, because we can't see with an ultrasound whether or not the airbag hitting your stomach has separated the placenta from the wall of your stomach. And if that has happened, when you go home, you will bleed out before you're able to make it back to the hospital.
It was so nerve-wracking.
Having to recover from childbirth, having been in a car accident, it was challenging to say the least.
After the accident, it was just like trauma for us as parents, because we didn't know. We just didn't know.
Aneaus came into this world in a very dramatic way.
I am grateful that things worked out, and he was healthy, and he was smart, and he was bubbly, and he was running around the house.
Not even a car accident was able to, you know, let's say, slow Aneaus down. Aneaus came into the world and has continued moving forward ever since.
We got through the pandemic, and then he went to Monsters of Hip Hop,
which is a hip hop convention that goes around the country, and you go in, and there's like this big stage, and there's a choreographer, and they're really famous choreographers.
And he basically came away with the largest prize, or the first place prize.
Y'all ready to see some cast nominees?
So this year when I went into it, I was like, I really want this year. I had no idea what I could get from it, but I was like, I really want to be called back out. I really want to be recognized for my dancing.
The girls were staying towards the back of the room. He ventured up and he was in the middle to the front of the room. He was engaging the choreographers and things like that.
And I went out to the side and I'm just chilling with the rest of the people from Hostiles. And then I hear my number get called. And I was like, wow, that's kind of crazy. So I went back out and I did it again. And then they called me out again.
Give it up for these advanced dancers. Congratulations, y'all. We love y'all.
So they're calling everybody up with their prizes, and then they call him up and they say that he won a week-long prize for a scholarship to Millennium Dance Studio.
I was like, okay, this is cool, but I didn't get that like $100 gift card. So did I really get anything though? Because I have no idea what this is.
The prize underneath him was like maybe like $100
Yeah.
cash or something like that. I was talking to his coach. I was like, man, I wanted the money. And this coach was like, dude, what's wrong with you?
He was like, Gary, that is the prize. That is the prize that all of the kids are there dancing for, and he won it.
I get like a week of unlimited classes at LA, which we're not going to.
It was at that point that I felt like a lot of validation for all the hard work he'd done, for the times that he'd missed. And now he was in front of judges that I felt like really showed him the respect that he deserved for the craft that he was doing.
Anything he won, we were always super excited for him. Like, oh my gosh, we're so excited. He's like, yeah, whatever, but we're not gonna go.
It's in California, we're not going to California. And so they're like, no, we're gonna go to California because we got the classes. I was like, we're going to California?
We flew out to California, all of us, because we always rolled together. There was 6 of us, and stayed there for like a week. He did classes. It was so awesome.
And that was a really great time. Like I got to meet like a lot of different people. It was like really fun.
When you look at all the pictures on the wall of all the famous dancers and movie stars that come into the studio to learn how to do different dances for whatever movies they're in, it was very awe-inspiring for me, at least anyway.
That was all just him trusting in himself and doing that. And I think that was pretty impressive.
I think that it really helped his confidence in dance, because there was just tons of males there dancing, and a lot of his choreographers were male. How does it feel to be here?
Great.
That was almost like the industry like speaking to him and saying that all of the time and effort that he had put into this sport, into this, this profession, that they saw him.
He graduated school a year early, and so this year is his last year with the team. Here we are. He's been accepted to college.
I'm going to Penn State for education and public policy. I also want to keep dancing at Penn State as well. There's a dance team, I'm not going to say which one. There's a dance club I'm looking at joining, so I really want to do that. And then there's like a lot of like different fun dance opportunities.
The next step is continuing to dance at the college level, teaching.
It'd be nice if we can keep him involved in the program here and see how he matures more as a coach and choreographer.
He is teaching a class of boys hip hop.
Good. Around, out. Good.
He had his first class to himself. This year we had a small boys group that we gave him this year.
Their parents have even come to me and told me that, your son is teaching my son dance, and I see my son practicing.
As long as I am here and I am like able to, I would like to stay with that team of boys and be helping them and help them gain more skills and do everything that they want to do in dance as well.
These boys that are starting in hip hop are wanting to actually, branch out into other forms of dance because of Aneaus.
In my life past college, I ultimately want to help people. It's what has ultimately sparked my interest in the Air Force.
Yeah. We dedicate this to all the men and women who have lost their lives in the struggle, all those individuals who have been injured, and all of those of you who are still serving right now with dignity.
My great-grandfather is in the service, and then my grandfather is in the Air Force, and now my uncle is in the Air Force as well.
We appreciate your struggles and your sacrifice.
I'm very proud of you, son. You are a wonderful, wonderful person. Sometimes I don't even have the words to describe how I feel about you. It's like a piece of my heart has come out of my body, as we like to say, and is walking around in the world.
He's my brother. He's pretty cool.
I've always thought that this car accident has turned him into a beautiful dancer, and also a messy one.
Son, I mean, you've always challenged yourself to do more and more, and we as parents have not ever had to push you. You've just pushed yourself. I am really lucky as a mom to have you as a son. This journey that you have had to travel through dance is preparing you for something. And I think that whatever that is, you are prepared and you're going to do amazing things, and I just can't wait to see what you do next.
Select Senior Solo Hip Hop entry number 533, Aneaus Smith. Pump it up.
Go!